Hey guys, just got done watching the 5th episode of season 1 of Tales from the Darkside called Mookie and Pookie, and it originally aired on the 4th of November 1984, and it was directed by Tim Narayanan, and the cast included Justine Bateman, who's the sister of Jason Bateman, Chippy Hedren, George Sims, Ron Asher, and Neil Kinsella. Now, basically, it starts off with Kevin Mookie Anderson basically being ill, and Susan Pookie and her parents Ruth and Harold are playing Scrabble, or a game like Scrabble, and basically Kevin's helping through like a intercom kind of thing, and he's really ill. You never know what's wrong with him. You never know how he got ill or anything. But he's in bed. And she goes to see him and basically ends up dying. But before he dies, he asks her to carry on this work for him. Makes her a promise. Because they're twins. So she says, oh, I don't know. And she ends up doing it. So he passes on. She works on the computer. Doing all this stuff. And all of a sudden, you find out that Kevin is talking to her. He doesn't really say much to her, just yes and don't hurt me and all this. And basically, the parents don't believe her and they think she's thinking it's all up in her head. But Ruth, her mother, believes her to a certain degree and isn't really sure, as Harold Anderson, the father, George Sims, is very kind of against it and thinks that it's all in the brain and that basically that Susan's imagining it and that she's seeing. So he sells the computer, or he's giving it away or something. And Susan says to him, please, 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 come on, just give it a go. So they type to him and basically doesn't answer. But when Harold Anderson's about to pull the cable, he goes, don't do it. And basically, he goes, oh. And then basically there's this whole thing where at the end they're playing the game again and they're laughing and joking because Kevin's not dead anymore. He's in the computer and he's still playing games with them. And you're sitting there going, well, how did he get in the computer? What caused him to be in the computer? What was he dying of? A rare illness from computers? The computers look old, but let's be honest, that doesn't really matter because it was 1984, and you can't put that down because, you know, if we were watching then, we would have thought it was amazing. Like, if we watch films in 20 years from now, we're going to think these computers we use now are not that great because they're going to be even more state-of-the-art. So that didn't really matter to me. Justine Bateman was really good in it. At times she was a little bit off, I felt. But the biggest problem I had was the story. Tales of the Darkside is supposed to have kind of horror stories in it. This wasn't a horror at all. This felt like this could have been like a Disney movie, where the family get to find the person in the computer, and basically the computer draws pictures and stuff. That's what would have happened in a Disney film. But it felt really out of place and really awkward because it wasn't a bad story. It was a very simple story, but it wasn't a bad story by any means. I don't think this is going to be one of my favourites in this season. Not because it's not good, but just because it's not got any horror elements to it. A child dying who's a twin and going into a computer isn't scary. Especially when the computer's not doing anything bad. You know, like putting on the screen die or anything, you know. So I just didn't like it. I didn't like it in that sense, but I enjoyed watching it nonetheless because it was still entertaining. The parents and Susan were fantastic, and Kevin, when he was on the screen, was all right. But other than that, there's nothing really much to say about because nothing goes on in it. Any other ones do, but all this revolves around in 20 seconds is this. Basically, Susan and her brother are close, they're twins. Kevin dies, he's in the computer, she does stuff on the computer. The parents don't believe for like 5 to 6 minutes. then they believe, and then they all finish at the end. There's nothing to this episode. This episode, there's nothing at all really going on, other than the brother in the computer and the parents not believing. There's nothing important about this episode. This one of those episodes, I'd say, if you don't really care about this kind of thing, skip this one and go on to the next one, because, like I said, there's nothing going on. So I'd probably rate this one a 3, just because it wasn't what I expected. I expected more. I mean, the synopsis says Mookie and Pookie are very close, fraternal twins. When Mookie learns he has a terminal disease, he downloads his mind into a computer now. Now, it says that, right? But in the show, you don't see that. Anyway, so I'm going to give it a 3, guys. Thanks for watching this review, and please check out my other Tales from the Darkness reviews, and have a lovely day. Thanks for watching.